excited for this year. And I know Stephen will be joining here in just a moment. We have a lot of great stuff to share with you and talk about today. So, yay, look at everybody. This is awesome. I guess we're all back to work, right? This is great. So for you just joining us, I'm giving a minute here. I'm stalling, looking for my partner and my team to join in. But welcome. I am, a decade and a half almost of land investing, just land, other things too. My partner is going, I doesn't care, I'm throwing him under here, going on 3 decades. There you are. Going on, going on like 3 decades now. Do you realize that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Thanks.
Not to scare you, and I'm not going to tell everybody your age. You just had a birthday. So if you want to share that, you can. Just joking, but
I just turned 55 and I'm actually pretty happy about it.
Good. So so when did because you jumped into right out of college, you got into real estate.
Sure.
I mean, that's the truth. And then you did other stuff for a little bit. And then
I'll tell you why I'm happy about being 55. If you're bored, not you, Joe, but anyone listening, and you type in happiness graph on the Google, it'll show you a graph that it ties happiness to age. And apparently most of us are the most unhappy around, late 30s, early 40s, where you're just in the drudges of working and raising children. And so you start to come out of it in your late 40s, early 50s, and then it really kind of almost exponentially goes up. You just get happier as time goes on. I'm convinced it's tied to having a jackass boss and little kids.
Yes. So I'm doing it right now. There's a little side intro here for everyone. If you want to feel good or see a light at the end of the tunnel, I just Googled it. Seriously, happiness graph, the first thing that comes up, and it shows you the shape of happiness and has a bunch of different colors. And on the left is happiness and the bottom is age. And we're kind of in it. We're kind of like right now is the hardest. But it's only going up from here. Is that the same one, Stephen, that you're talking about?
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of different versions, but I feel like it's going on the way up, not down.
It is. What's great? It starts at 16 to 22. There's a drop. It's actually comical, because I think between 16 and 22 is when you learn oh man, I'm an adult now.
Yep.
I got to pay my own bills. I got to do this whole college thing. What the heck?
Got in my first car accident.
Oh yeah, there we go. Maybe I totaled it.
First girl I really dumped me. It's all that reality stuff.
Exactly. I got to show up to the job thing and actually pay bills. This is dumb.
My parents were not as smart as I thought.
Yes.
Just one letdown after another.
Exactly. And then you see it jumps up. I'll tell you, there's a spike at 61. I see it a spike at 67, and it's you're floating in happiness, from I want to say right around 60. I think that's the kids are gone. Your career stuff's, it is what it is, and now you're just having fun.
Yeah, I think it just this notion of acceptance just sets in. Yep, I know I'm not going to be a rock star. I thought I was going to be a rock star. I'm not going to be one. You've accepted your situation, and you can just enjoy yourself.
Mm-hmm. I think this is awesome. So yeah, so depending what age you're in, just know that you're not nuts. Sorry, this is life. It's happening. This is good. So thank you for sharing that. That was a great way to start this today. But so I'm so happy to be here. I'm Jill DeWitt. This is my partner, Stephen Jack Bitala. If you don't know who we are, please check out our bios. There's all kinds of good stuff there. But at the end of the day, we are land investors, and I would argue no one's done as many deals. We're closing in on 16,000. We're probably over 16,000 now. Anyway, and those are our deals. It's not partners. It's not deal funding. Those are our own personal bought it, owned it, sold it. Not wholesale, not assigned, not anything like that. Land is our thing. We know how to find it. We know how to buy it. We know how to sell it. And we know how to show other people how to do it. That's the whole point. So with that, we are Land Academy. We've been doing that now for going on 7 years. So, yep, so happy. And a lot of people here in the room, happy to see you all, are part of Land Academy. And now, and some of them do better than we do certain months with their investments, and nothing makes me happier than that. So
sometimes we do it together. The whole reason we started Land Academy is to get partners for ourselves, financial partners and other types of business partners where we can, more eyes are better than just one set.
Mm-hmm. Help each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole thing. We're helping each other, and I love it. So in the spirit of helping each other, that's what today is. I am so excited and happy to talk to you. And I see Michael's raising his hand already. I know my team's getting ready to, my team's controlling the audience here. So bring it. I want to hear from you. What are your goals for 2022? Nothing's too big. Some might, I was going to say nothing's too small. I'm going to argue there could be some that are too small, and we'll tell you if it is too small, we'll say, aim higher, but nothing's too big. I want to know, what you want to do this year. Is it volume? Is it dollars? Is it niche-y? Is it a personal goal? Whatever it is. And in the spirit of Land Academy, because this is who we are and what we do, how can we help? Those of you who know us know that we are here, like Stephen just alluded to make partners and make others, we could all be successful together. There's enough land to go around. And one of the things that we do is,
Jill, I think setting goals is anybody can set goals. I want to be a millionaire. I think it's what I want to talk about today. And, when we get into it is how you're setting goals and how you execute once you do set a goal that's realistic for yourself, how you're executing.
Mm-hmm. So, that's perfect. So we can talk about that because that's what we do. We'll set a goal like Stephen will say, all right, here's how we did in 2021, which we've already done. And we'll talk about here's what we want to do in 2022. And then we sit down and go, how does it look like? And we back into it. December, November, how many we got to do a month, how many deals we got to do, what do the deals need to look like, how much time is going to take, do we need to add staff, do we need to do this, do that, whatever it is. And we want to help you with that. But my second piece is as far as need help, it's not just that kind of help, but we have data services and all kinds of things to help you, mapping services and things like that. So I kind of want to know, like, we're going to revamp Neighbor Scoop and some things that we have. So I kind of want to make sure that, is O2O doing what you need? Is there something else that you need? So I want to make sure it's all inclusive. So it's not just motivational help or talking through it or planning or budgeting, but, aside from me opening a title company, which we've all talked about a lot, but there's other things that we can do. And I have a thing that I'm going to share about that too, with our notary service that's coming up. I'm making a note here. I want to hear about that from the group as well. So, and maybe your goal is, I want to learn land investing. That's why I'm sitting in this room right now. All right, this is awesome. What's the deadline and when are you going to be doing deals? How are you going to do the first quarter? Is it going to be all January? I'm going to get all my research done. I've allotted 20 hours a week to this. And then on February, I'm going to jump in. And by March 1, I'm going to have mail out there and I'm going to be, getting a deal in, that kind of a thing. Love to talk about it. So thank you. This is good. We have a lot of good people in here right now. I'm happy to see you all.
I think when setting a goal, you have to start with the end. And I think that's a huge takeaway. And I think hopefully most people here on listening know that that's what you do. If you say, I need to make I want to make $250,000 this year, or I want to do 15 deals this year, that's starting at the end. And that's how a goal setting starts. And then from there, actually, we did an episode on this. I think it airs this week, Jill, on our podcast. So start at the end and deconstruct the whole thing and work your way backwards to the point where you're scheduling what you need to do to accomplish the goal on a weekly basis in a calendar. So if you want to make $250,000 this year and you want to do 10 deals, you need to make $25,000 net on each deal. And then you need to work your way backwards for how many mailers you need to send out to get one deal, let's say a month, to net 25,000. And you need to fish for or troll for, from a statistics standpoint, what kind of land deal is going to net you $25,000. And so when you really sit down and deconstruct it all and put it into tiny little steps, it's not that hard.
I agree. You know what's funny too about that? It's true, and I want to make sure everybody knows it and feels this. It's easier to drive a automatic than a manual. I don't know if that's the right analogy. I can't really use the plane thing here. I think it's, but you and I, it's easier to fly a big plane than as a small plane because of all the autopilot and all that good stuff. But my point is, got it. I'm inviting Michael on stage. For some reason, it wasn't showing up for everybody, so I just tried to send him a note there. But doing $30,000, buying for 30, selling for 75 is arguably easier sometimes than buying for 3,000 and selling for $7,500.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Right.
Completely.
And I know, because I remember being there. I remember doing a lot of little deals in the beginning, and I thought I mastered it, but it was a lot of work. We did master it, but it's a whole lot of work. Talk about tire kickers. There's a lot of people that can afford $7,500. There's less people that can afford $75,000. And it's a whole different type of buyer. And it's a whole different way of selling too. So I just want to make sure everybody knows, like, we're throwing around these numbers. Don't feel overwhelmed or nervous about it. I promise you, I really can truthfully say this because I've helped a lot of people do it. Add a zero. Don't look back. Close your eyes. Hit the button. Send out the mailer. I know it sounds really scary. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm sending out the mail for these to buy properties at this price. And then watch what happens. And you're going to do 3 deals and you're going to come back and go, okay, Jill, you're right. I added a zero. I'm over it. It worked. Like, yeah. Yep. Totally.
Adding 3 zeros, whole different story. That's a different animal. Buying and selling land in the millions or tens of millions is very, very possible and very profitable. Mm-hmm. It's just a whole different. It's different. In fact, we should do a talk on that. I'm going to write that down.
We should. I got a couple right. We both. I mean, there are deals, so we have a couple in play right now in those ranges, and it's driving me nuts. I can't stand them.
Yeah, me too. I agree, Jill. But, can you expound on that? I totally, we talk about this, you and I together, but I'd love to hear why.
Because it takes too long. Why don't
you like the larger deals?
They take too long. People lose interest. And it's what's funny, I don't lose interest because it's my money that's sitting out there. But the people that are trying to sell it, they if it doesn't sell really fast, they feel a little bit defeated. And you have to still, you know what? We talked about this. We're going to do I don't know when we're going to do a podcast on this, but I know you're going to do one. It might be Friday about enthusiasm. Is it this? Yep. Is it going to air next Friday?
Next Friday. Yep.
Okay. Got it. So we're going to do a show coming up on our podcast about enthusiasm. And you know what? I don't care if you're selling for 3,000 or you're selling for 30, you're selling for 300 or you're selling for 3 million. You got to have the enthusiasm, and people peter out. They get discouraged, they get frustrated, and they move on, and you can't do that. So this is one of the things I'm going to talk about. We're going to record them tomorrow now for next week, but you got to know yourself. This is what I do. I know what motivates me. I know I need to take breaks. And Stephen and I couldn't be more different. He can dive in and go for it for a long time. I can't do that. I have to give myself breaks. I have to give myself my own little personal rewards. And it might even be a spa day. Not kidding. It's totally true. But if I do that and I remove myself from my day to day, the stuff I got going on, and give myself a little reward, I am so recharged. And that's just what works for me. I can come back motivated and excited and just do it, kind of thing.
This is Jill's sweet way of telling me to back off.
Totally. Totally. Exactly. Because we're working on some big projects right now this month. And I had to, he's like, what is your problem? I'm like, hold on, buddy. I don't do it like you. It's going to be great, but I don't do it the way you do it. I can't. It's like, why can't you just bang this out? Like, my head doesn't work like yours. I have to give myself rewards. So, but enthusiasm. And so whatever it is, you're setting your goals for the year. This is totally what I do. I have goals, and I have to build in my motivational breaks and things I do to stay on track.
I don't.
So, yeah. I know you don't. Hey, Michael Alon. Michael Alon, save me. How are you? You should be able to.
Hey, everyone. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Yeah.
Boy, give us a weather report in Boston.
It's actually sunny today, but cold. And we're going to get some snow tomorrow. But finally, the sun came out. We had a whole week of just dreary, overcast, gloomy, horrible weather while my friends were all in Florida partying.
Oh, darn.
But finally some sunshine today. Jack, when you talk about goals here, one of the things you said a couple of years ago, which I love, which is part of my goal, is just chasing zero,
Yep.
And Kathy and I, our biggest goal is that we've got to hire somebody. We've got to hire a good person who can take some of the load off, because right now Kathy's just buried in stuff, and I started a new job that's going to be a little more demanding. So I'm even have even less time now, and I've told Kathy, maybe you're keeping your head above water right now, but you get a few more deals in the pipeline, you're broken. You're just broke. You can't handle it, because we've got like 3 or 4 now that we've bought that have no advertising, that aren't being marketed right now because she just can't get it out the door, and another 2 or 3 in the pipeline that we're trying to buy, due diligence, etc. So, yeah, chasing zero. I've got to fire myself. I've got to do it now, and one of the things too is that I came into a little bit more money, so we're going to have some money to try to hire a quality person and not do it on the cheap, which hopefully is going to make the difference.
Boy, I'll tell you, that's getting out of first gear and getting into second gear. Getting that first employee and realizing that your time's better spent making decisions versus, just doing the grunt work. It's tough. It's a tough transition mentally and financially. I feel for you. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, and Steve, one of the other problems I have here, maybe you're the best person to answer this, is that when it comes to mail, every time I do a mailer, it always seems different. I'm like, it's like I can't really dial in the process. Every county, and then of course my own personal strategy is evolving and changing. As I get a little more experience, and how do you do you find the same issue? How do you handle that in an employee or train somebody?
So I'm a huge fan of mechanizing everything. That's what part of chasing zero is.
Yeah.
Chasing zero just for everybody else. I'm glad that made an impression on you, because nobody else talks about it.
Thank you for defining that, because I was going to ask you to share that with everybody. Please define chasing zero.
Yeah.
And it takes a minute to really grasp this, but chasing zero is waking up in the morning every single day with the whole intent of trying to do stuff that day, or the stuff that you've scheduled for yourself in a calendar to meet your goals, that'll get you to the point where you don't have to do anything. You're always chasing this zero. So I need to hire somebody, or I need to, and Michael's, I'm answering Michael's question here inadvertently. Get it to the point where my entire mailer process is mechanized. The direct mail process is completely mechanized, and it's as close to the same every single time I do it. So the mail goes out, and then the next process is answering the phone and processing these transactions in a CRM to get to the point where Michael or Kathy can make the decisions, because that's what's important. Make the acquisition decisions, and then execute on acquiring the property, and then the phone is selling it, marketing it to selling it. So that's chasing zero. So you really, in that process, you're the only thing that you're really required to do at the end, and this is all academic now, is pricing the mailer, because no one else can do that but you, in my opinion, and making decisions on the acquisition price and the sale price. The whole you could do 25 deals, have 25 deals going on, or 150 deals going on in our case. And if you just do those two things, everybody else is doing all the other work. You've got to as close to zero as you can get in this business. Yeah. And I have a whole chasing zero in your personal life too, but that's for a different time. And so,
thank you.
Well, that's just as important, because
it is.
Because if
as far as these mailers go, I have to tell you, Jill's talking about enthusiasm later. I have enthusiasm for mailers. So analyzing the data and pricing the mailer and all of that stuff, it's different every time. But that's how I know we're going into something that might be new for us, from a new acquisition criteria and all that. And I think that's good and healthy. So I revel in that. If you struggle with it, I mean, that's why we have concierge data. They'll do all of it for you, and then you go in right at the bitter end and say, I want to offer 15% of retail or 20% of retail, and that's it.
Yeah, I'm definitely, looking at concierge data. I mean, but with regards to chasing zero in your personal life, I mean, the last thing. We only have so much time, and chasing minutia in your personal life is just as horrible as doing everything in your business. Like mowing your lawn, going groceries, house cleaning. We don't do that anymore. But
all right,
mowing your lawn, we do.
Just for fun, let's take each one of those.
Yeah,
mowing your lawn. If you don't have a lawn, you don't have to mow it. Groceries. Let's chase zero here. Groceries, we use Instacart.
Yep.
Jill has a recurring app called Instacart, so we don't ever go to the grocery store anymore. It just shows up at our door.
It's nice.
And so over and over, I mean, you can really, if you want to get, I mean, there's a point where this is unhealthy. And I've long crossed that point where it's like, I would just rather sit in a room painted white with a floor drain and a light hanging down from a string and on a notebook computer, and then you've got to zero.
Yeah. The only thing you got to watch out with Instacart for anybody who's looking to do it is like you kind of have to do it like once a week, or because you can easily blow up your food budget even more because of the fee on top and the tip and so forth. And if like you get Instacart every 2 days, it's like you're paying a lot of money for what would normally be a lot less. So.
Yep.
I understand. We long past that. We have issues with that. We have. I swear we should probably have our own Amazon delivery guy.
Oh yeah. I think it's the norm now for just about every household for the Amazon guy to show up at least every day or every other day.
It's the funniest thing.
It seems so wasteful, doesn't it? I feel there's a tiny part of me that feels guilty about this. I'm like, God, there's got to be maybe Tuesday could be Amazon Day, and you just load it all up and that's it.
Right.
They should probably come.
They have that.
Yeah.
They do have that. That's so funny. So I want to know, okay, so chasing zero is one of your goals. Do you have any monetary goals, Michael, that you want to share with us? Because I'd love to hear.
Oh, jeez.
I know. Bring it.
Well, there's a vision that should be written in ink, and your goals should be written in pencil. And honestly, I'm still struggling. I've been in with I'm not struggling. I mean, we're making good money, but there are other people in Land Academy who are past me at this point. There are people who come to Land Academy who've done well, who are doing their own coaching businesses. Okay, that you know who they are, and they're doing well. And I'm like, I'm still trying to find that niche of where, you know, I can have done so well that I can quit my job, and that's why chasing zero or outsourcing or getting the right people is so important to me, because that's my only path. I can't quit my job right now. It's too much of my income, and I just don't have the consistency to do so. But back to personal goals or monetary goals. I mean, if I had $250 in the bank, which would be, you know, call it a year and a half of bills that I could just rely on if I had to, then yeah, that would be a goal, right? But for me, I think some of it is going to have to be notes, because the notes will give me the consistency to push, you know, will give me some consistency on the down months. If I don't acquire well or sell well during some particular months, the notes will carry me through. They'll give me that consistency. So having notes is part of it. In good notes where that I've got a strong buyer who's in on who's got 20% down, that they're not going to flake out on me. Otherwise, they're going to be losing. You know, once they've committed a certain amount of money, it's a high chance that they're not going to walk from you on that. You know. But
what about a bigger bank balance?
Yeah, bigger bank balance. Like I said, if I had $250 in the bank, then I can definitely quit my day job and really, really double down on the business and make that bigger. Okay.
What's your sweet spot right now? Because I know you guys, and you could do that in 90 days.
That's what I think, Joe. I was just going to say the same thing.
I know you very well. I know you could do this.
That aren't being marketed, and they're good drive up and see it properties. Those are your first, you know, 5 or 6 notes.
The problem right now, it's me. It's getting the mail out, getting good mail out, because the last few bits of mail have struck out. Although some of it's been pretty good, and then it's still, you know, for me, it's that constant sharpening of the sword, which is
I'll tell you, Mike,
pricing.
I'm not selling you anything here, but you're just a perfect candidate for concierge data, because that'll put that in a system where on the 5th of the month, all the mail goes out, regardless of whether you want it to or not. I mean, you could obviously stop it, but you put that, systematize that whole thing, and you're just forced to do deals.
Concierge data?
Yeah.
That's a great idea. You could give yourself a deadline, you know, by the 15th, you know, the month before or something. You have 3 counties picked out. You've done your red, yellow, green, you know, your own little deadlines for just that part. That's you know, that comes from you. And the stuff that Kathy says, hey, we need 10 more over here, like this one, because those flew off the shelves kind of thing.
Kathy can't handle 10 more.
So
Kathy's up to her eyeballs right now.
Yeah, you guys need another. You need a.
That's it.
Somebody sitting between you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what I did do is that I was able to apply for an EIDL loan, and I was approved. So I got some money coming in from the government.
Great.
I funded my account yesterday, actually, and so it's 30-year loan at 3.5%.
Wow, you can't beat that.
Yeah.
That's
so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to use that for acquisitions and notes and so forth. And hopefully that's going to carry, you know, the more notes I have, some more monthly consistency I have. And the more I'm not feeling like I have to hold out for a cash buyer, when I can just say, you know what, that's a good down payment. Great. I got most, if not all, my money out of the deal. Great. Put it on auto payment. Move on to the next one. Keep going. Keep growing that. Yeah, I know there's going to be some headache to it. There's going to be defaults and so forth. But you know, I'm not going to do a whole note game for sure. I definitely wanted to keep that momentum going and try to turn that money as fast as possible. You know, if I can sell it for cash.
I'll tell you, too, there's multiple people in our group who have full-blown note servicing companies that'll do all of that for you. They'll do the contracts. They'll do the contact with the payee.
Yeah.
And they'll manage the whole thing for 10% of the revenue. So, you know, I know that crushes your soul because you're kind of a DIY kind of person. But I think you're at the point in your career where you're just going to have to make peace with the fact that you have to outsource some of this stuff.
Oh, that's been the biggest mind shift lately is, I'm DIY and I've got to get out of my own way. And there's a book that I'm planning on reading. It's called not Ask Who, Not How. All right.
Yeah, that's good.
That's one I'm definitely, just the title in itself is a mind shift. But, ask who, not how, you definitely want to do that. Just chase zero. I've got to chase zero my personal life and my business life. Otherwise, I'm going to go nowhere. And I have to do that with partners and processes. And one of my mentors, if you will, he says, structure and processes will set you free. I've got to double down on that. Got to commit to that.
I based this whole Land Academy model, sending out these mailers and this whole process based on laziness. Like, I want to get to the point where I can be lazy.
Yeah.
You're doing pretty good there, babe. I've seen you the last couple weeks.
Hey, Jill, did you go flying the other day?
No, we actually drove up there, but we had lunch up there. So, yeah, that was really fun. So, cool. We're looking at, you're going to love this one. We're looking at potentially buying this whole cabin experience where they had 6 out cabins. And so Jack's walking around counting where we could add 10 more, and I'm like, this is so funny. You're talking about notes, and I'm so anti-notes and anti that kind of a thing, and the work that's involved in that. And I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I could do that.
Well, this is a good segue actually to continue on. Dealing with cabins and notes and zoning and contractors and all that. Is that easier than trying to put something on autopilot assuming you get a good down payment?
No, it's much harder. It's much, much easier to buy a bunch of property, to send out a bunch of mail, buy a bunch of property, and do the stuff that we've always been doing, just scale it up. And that's ultimately why we decided not to buy it. It's a cabin. It was on 3 acres, and a bunch of cabins on it. Very profitable. Crazy profitable when you really think about it. In fact, we would have purchased it for what the land is worth, and that's it. And so instead, you get this income stream. But Jill's put a halt to the whole thing by saying, cabin 4 needs more toilet paper.
Exactly. That's what I said. You and I both know there will be a day where the cleaning people can't get there, something can't happen, and then you and I are responsible for getting the cabin ready for the next guest. I said, I don't want to do that. Not what I signed up for.
Issue refunds and lose customers over changing toilet paper. That's no way to run a business.
To the similar point, for 2022, though, other people in our space have pointed out that maybe, we should start looking into doing more deals and where we do small improvements on the land that we buy in order to make them that much more profitable, whether it's maybe, clearing out a spot for an RV or putting in a culvert or whatever. Do you think we should be doing more of that in 2022?
That's what I'm doing. So let me describe what we're doing. We're buying property that's between 5 and 10 acres. Minor splitting it for whatever the local law allows, down to the point where we can install mobile homes, put very light infrastructure in, if you can even call it that, really drill a well, and septic fields, and either sell the lots mobile home ready or put mobiles on them. I'm looking at going back and forth on which one's more profitable. So yeah, we are with minimal improvement really dramatically increasing the value of the property. So yeah, but that's not our main business. We get 10 deals that come in. One might be conducive for that. One might be conducive to just minor split it and then resell the smaller parcels off the different APNs. One might just buy it and sell it. It depends on the asset itself. Which brings my point to selling on terms. If you've got property that you can drive right up to it, it's hopefully on a county road, which we look at all the time on the Thursday call, you can sell that on terms all day. If they can go look at it and use it, not every property is conducive to either, dealing with, you have to assign what its highest and best use is. And so if you can get 5 or 10 properties that are paying you $1,000 a month, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's our second choice, but we're open to it when it makes sense. When we get the right down payment, for sure. If somebody comes in, I got 50% down and I can pay $1,000 a month. I'm just going to just take 2 years to pay it off, not this long thing. $1,000 a month and it's done. I don't have to think about it. Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Yep, absolutely.
Don't you get asked that all the time anyway, Michael? I do that. I have deals where, even with I have them listed with agents. That's my new thing. We all know that. But we have long gotten over eating our words, and brokers are my new best friends, and particular ones too. I've got a new guy here in Arizona that we're like buds. And he's young. He's got a lot of energy. He wears a cowboy hat. He loves land. He's all excited. And we're having a good time together. So, anyway, people come along and they say, hey, even though I'm not seeking it, they ask, would you consider seller financing? So does that not come up in your normal business a lot anyway?
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody asks for a seller financing.
Right.
And I always say, we just recently started advertising the property. The question comes in the Facebook, says, will you consider seller financing? And I said, possibly. What's the best you can do for a down payment? Somebody might say for 50% down or 25% down. And okay, what's the best can you do for, what kind of monthly payment can you make? And if they present themselves as like, I make money, I've got a good chunk, just not all of it, I'm going to need short-term financing, and I'm going to be really committed by giving you a strong down payment, I'll probably do it. If it's sitting around for a while. But you're right. Brokers are our friends as well, for sure. And it goes back to the concept of me doing less and having brokers do more, right? We need these teams, we need these people. Everybody's got to eat. Everybody has to provide for their families, and if you can make that work, we all win.
That's the easiest transition right there.
Yeah.
If you backed off and gave Kathy less selling to do, if you're buying bigger deals, spending more dollars, and having Kathy doing less selling and more just orchestrating, that would push you guys ahead right there, and you won't have to hire someone.
Yeah, we've got a few deals right now that are with Whitetail. So. There
you go.
Is he working out?
He priced one at really high, and it was just over the holidays, so there's not a lot of action on it. Although we are getting some action on Facebook on it, so I'm like, wow, at that people aren't balking too much at this really, really high price point. But we'll see how it goes.
Don't be afraid. Sometimes you price things too low, and it sends the wrong message.
Yeah.
I'm watching that right now.
For the first time in my career, we are taking some assets. Jill's very confused by this. It's a dinner table conversation with us often right now. We're taking assets that I know are worth $150,000. It's like buy for $35, and normally we would sell them for $60 or $70 and go along our way. But I know they're worth $150 in this market, and so we're listing them for $150, knowing that it's going to take a while to sell them. And I'm speaking for Jill, and Jill, correct me if I'm wrong, but she's having a tough time with this because she's just a natural deal maker and she wants to get this stuff done. And I'm for the first time in my life, I'm like, you know what? We're not in any hurry anymore. We have all this other stuff running in the background. Why not make $100,000 in this deal? Yeah. It might take a year, but so what?
Yeah, I've been thinking that too lately. That not to, start off the advertising at full retail. Don't necessarily try to just undercut the whole market and get it out the door as fast as possible, because you could easily be leaving a good chunk of it on the table for no reason. So, and what I normally do with my brokers that I speak with, when they talk about, what price do you want to sell your property at? And I always tell them, I say, I want to sell it, well, lately I've been saying, 30 to 90 days, without giving away unnecessary equity. Okay, that's what I tell them.
I would like to add, well, two things. Yes, Stephen, don't worry. I'll tell you if I don't like something that you're saying.
Yeah, I figured that.
I know that. I really want everyone here to know this, and this is the truth. I believe right now what we are experiencing are the best times to be in the land business since I've ever been doing this. All of a sudden, everybody wants land. It is the greatest thing ever, and nobody knows how to buy it as well as we do. When I say we, I mean everybody in Land Academy in this environment here. You guys know how to do this. This is so much fun for me, and you're right. You know, it's funny because we had one that I listed with a broker that I thought we listed more retail, and it still sold fast.
Yeah.
And I bet it was a retail price, but it was just people are the normal person is trolling MLS and the internet looking for property.
Yep.
Like they never have before. It is the
I agree
greatest,
with you. Hands down,
thing.
this is the best time to be in the business. I've never seen anything like it. And it's
I am
not gonna
so
last forever.
happy.
We've got 20, probably 36 months of this. And then it's not going to crash. It'll just plane out.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to take up any more time, and those other people who might want to talk. So thank you so much for taking my questions. And yeah,
Absolutely, Michael. It's great to talk with you.
To setting some bigger goals and making that leap if I can.
Awesome. I'm excited for you. So I'd love to hear if anyone raise your hand, come on up here if you want to talk about your goals or even ask us a question about Land Academy, land investing, you know, what we're seeing and feeling and things are working on for 2022. I really am so excited. I get excited every year around, you know, I operate that way. Let's just go with that. But I'm really excited right now because it keeps getting better. It's so funny. And on a personal note, Jack, you may or may not have noticed, that lot that we're watching in our general vicinity where we're sitting right now, they just added $500,000 to it again.
Yeah, I mean, what Jill's referring to is just in our immediate neighborhood. Prices, our primary residence prices are skyrocketing. So, and that's happening all over the place. It's not just here, with very few exceptions.
It's insane.
You don't want to add this to 22 goals. Forever, people look at money and making money and creating wealth in all different types of ways. Like Michael was talking about having a number of months of expenses in the bank. So, and I've heard that a lot recently, and I think that's great. That's a great way to look at it. I have always looked at land acquisitions like this. So we buy property and we pay cash for it, and it goes into our inventory. I'm not sure when it's going to sell. It might be a year, and it might be honestly 2 weeks. We have a pretty good idea of when that's going to happen, but stuff happens. And so when I take a look at, and I have our CRM set up this way, where we have property that's done, and and we move it from the acquisition stage to the engineering stage, and then ultimately to the for sale and then sold stage. But everything in those stages, after acquisition and before we've cashed out of it, I look at that total. So we might have 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 properties in there at any given time. I want to know what the for sale value of those properties is. And for me personally, when it's in the millions, in the low 2 millions, that's where I feel great. And I don't think there's any real fire to sell this property because it's sold, it's paid for. I mean, it's purchased and it's paid for. We're cashed out of it. We got a $2.2 million worth of property in inventory. I'm good. Because I know as a fallback, if something really happens, great, we mark the property price down. And from a cash standpoint, we can collect that. So there's a lot of different ways that you can set a goal. And so for my one of my goals too is to increase that from 2 million to 3 million this year, which will happen. Does that make sense, Joe?
One of the benefits of that too, Steve, you might want to take a look at is maybe say, I don't want to sell anything that's less than a year old from a tax perspective.
Yeah.
You know, now that you've got the bank balance and the runway and the idea that, you know, it doesn't have to sell fast. In fact, you may even want to delay it a whole year because you got other inventory that you could sell first. That would be, but have better tax ramifications than selling them the short-term stuff.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But my point in saying all this is that there's different ways to look at it, and you have to figure out which one works best for you. Like what works best for you, Joe? Do you just rely on me, or how do you look at it?
It's kind of funny. Oh, yes, dear. I wait for you every day. I wake up wondering, what's going to happen today? What can I do for you? No, I'm just kidding.
So you have access to the same data that I do.
That's kind of funny. No, you know what? I'm with you. I like to see this. This is the truth. Because I think I surprised you the other day. I started to have lose a little sleep because there was too much money, too much cash money in our bank accounts. And I was like, I don't like that. I actually feel better when there's a little more of a balance. I don't like to be cash heavy, and I'm never property poor. That's never the problem. But when the bank balance gets up a little too high, makes me nervous. Yeah. I'd rather see that money. Now, I don't like it just sitting there. It doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
And if it's sitting in a property, I feel great about that.
Me too, for a bunch of reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what? And this is the thing too. We're all excited right now. Maybe we could end it on this. We're all excited right now. It's 2022. Our businesses are on fire. If you're in our world, you are probably going, holy cow, I can't believe what's going on. If you're not in our world, we'll help you and show you the way, because this is what's happening. It's insane and it's awesome. But I lost my little thought there. I like it working for me. I guess that was just my point. I like to see it moving forward. And we've been talking about, it's such a good time right now. I'm really, and we're doing some of the things that we're doing, like Stephen talked about with the subdividing and things like that. These are in up and coming areas that Stephen knows from his experience way more than my experience. And he kind of has a little bit of a crystal ball, and he's been right. He has been right. And I want to quickly amass all that we can. That's my thing. Yeah. I want to put all that. Hey, good, Justice. I'm going to bring you up here. I want to amass a lot more property right now at these prices, because we know what's going to happen.
Yes.
And then I can take my time doing all those wonderful things that you talked about. I
agree with that every single part of that, Joe. I'm glad we're on the same page. That would suck if we weren't.
That would be funny. You're good. Hey, Justice, how are you? You want to share some of your goals?
Yeah, how are you too?
Great.
Okay. Thank you. Awesome. I just want to thank you both for all the value again that you are bringing from last year, this year. Every podcast and video you guys do is just incredible. I'm trying to watch as many as I can. Actually, I was just kind of hearing Stephen talk about kind of reverse engineering your goal from keeping the end in mind. And I guess my revenue goal for this coming year would be 4 million, but I've never achieved that before, and I'm trying to really think of the worst case scenario. And I know we're going to be starting Career Path a little bit later, so there's a lot of mail I wanted to get out this quarter, and I kind of wanted to get out in the next couple weeks. So I have multiple campaigns I want to send out in order to achieve something like that. And I'm just trying to think the minimum property that I wanted to go after is you buy for 30 to 40 and you sell for 60 on up, right? And in order to achieve that, you have to do 67 deals. If you're selling at the minimum of 60 grand, right? Will be just above 4 million revenue. But I guess that's the worst case scenario, is selling it wholesale. But I wanted to do you guys gauge it like that? I'm trying to figure out how you gauge in order to achieve the amount that you're looking for. because you could sell it above 60 as well. So you don't have to do exactly 67 deals. It could go down a lot actually, but I'm trying to think of it. Worst case scenario, I got to send out this much mail. And if I had to sell everything for as cheap as possible, it would be this amount. Do you gauge it like that? Or do you guys think a little bit more optimistic in terms of getting more reliable sale prices? I don't know if you understand the question.
Yeah, I completely understand the question. I'll tell you how we do it. And it may or may not, you may or may not be at the point in your career where this makes sense to you, but we very much, when a deal comes in, Jill decides in maybe 30 seconds whether or not we're going to buy it. And then it gets to me, and we kind of together decide what is the best use. Like I was speaking with Michael earlier, should we minor split it? Should we just blow it through our system and wholesale it, or what should we do? So it comes down to that. I like to do 2 great deals a month where we make buy for 30, sell for 120 or 90, where we make 50 or 60,000 bucks. Because I know that if we make $100,000 or $120,000 a month, we're at 1.2 to 1.5 million. It ends up that we always do probably twice what we think, because I send out so much more mail than I need to. It's just, that's my insurance policy. So to directly answer your question, I want to do 1 or 2 deals a month. We end up doing probably 4 or 5. I don't know, Joe, maybe more. And I think we average, doesn't matter, like it's $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 net per deal. Like last year, I think we netted 2.2. And so I'm not going into this year saying I want to net 4, which I think is great that you're doing that. It just kind of unfolds that way based on how much mail we send. I hope that helps. But and then in the back of my head, I need to have that balance sheet to know that we have that much property just kind of sitting there for sale.
Yeah, that does help. I appreciate that. And that's a better way to actually really, I guess, say what I was trying to say, is have an insurance policy with just in case if something goes wrong. Like if I send out some mail and it doesn't really do anything, that's another thing. It's just a lot of questions that I'm going to be asking you guys through Career Path, and I just appreciate joining that. And because I've never went after this many high-end properties before, and I really don't know what I'm doing necessarily. So
I'm sure you know what you're doing, but I'm glad that I didn't know you were on Career Path. That's going to be a lot of fun.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, you did, Jill?
I did. Yep, I knew. And so for everybody, this is not nuts. So this is kind of something that we do. So, okay, 70 deals a year. If I'm going to yield at least $50,000 a deal, got it. If I do 70 deals a year times 50,000 each, that's 3.5 million. Okay. And that's, if I do it at this volume, it's like 6 deals a month is what I got to do. What if I screw it all up? This is totally stuff that we do no matter what business or thing we're going down. Stephen will come to me with a version of this budget. And when I look at it and I go, if we screwed it all up and we did half that, are we okay? Yeah. Am I okay with half of 3.5 million? Yeah. Because then I know what I need to do the next year to get me to that level. So I tried for 3.5 or 4. I got 2 million this year. Big flipping deal. I think I can pay my bills. If you can't, we have bigger problems. So
if you want to do 6 deals, sorry, go ahead, Joe.
And then from there, you know what? And then you make different decisions. Part of it is too, Justice, you're going to get into this and decide, maybe you want to do this. Maybe you don't want to work that hard. Who knows? You might go, $2 million a year for the rest of my life. I think and I now know I got to do 3 deals a month. Well, shucks, I could do this with my eyes closed and have a really nice life, with my family, my friends, the travel, the fishing, the hunting, whatever it is I want to do. I think this is good. So I love the go for it and back into it like you did, and then tweak it as you go.
Yeah, I agree with you. I love our $2 million mark. We're right on the same page. We could do twice as much easily. We could hire 2 more people, but it's just not necessary. But I'll tell you, using your numbers, if you want to do 6 deals a month, if you sent out 4,000 mailers a month, you're going to do 6 deals a month. That's 24,000 mailers a month. You're absolutely going to do that. it's going and you'll be forced to do it. You just got to have things in place to manage the inbound flow of calls.
I guess that's another question I had was, I guess in my, maybe I'm not chasing, I wasn't really doing the equity planner test, as really at all. So I wasn't fully checking days on market when I came to buying some of the properties I bought in the past few years. But the way I've seen it pan out, the more expensive the property is, the longer it usually takes to sell if I'm trying to sell it for above retail or just like retail in general. So I was thinking, is it really kind of like 6 deals a month, or is it like 12 deals in 2 months? Or
you could do
let's
6
say,
a month.
Okay. Just
6 a month, you could do that with your eyes closed.
That's 1 point something a week. You can do that. Totally do that as a one-man show. And then if you do it right with these numbers, like buy for 30, sell for 100, kind of thing. Like that's your goal. And if you sell it for 80, you're fine with that. Like whoopee, that's totally fine. And then do what the rest of us are doing. Make it easy on yourself. Get a couple brokers that you really love in 3 different states. And they're doing all that work. They're doing the photos and the drone shots and the marketing and the phone calls and all of that. And then you're going to find yourself going, well, I could do 10 deals a month with this crew. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I guess like just knowing what's possible is huge for me. I'm sure for most people, is like when you hear numbers, what some people are making in this business, it's like it dramatically changes your goals because some people are making over 10 million a year and more than that, and it's very inspiring. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, and I guess worst case scenario, it's like I don't want to do 67 deals or 70 deals or whatever. I really don't. But I was just thinking worst case scenario. That's probably what I would have to do if I had to sell everything as cheap as possible. And I was just thinking maybe the first couple months or the first quarter, maybe I do that just to build revenue, purchasing power and everything. But I mean, with Land Academy funding too, it's just an incredible time to be in the business. There's so many different aspects of it that allows you to achieve goals like that.
I need to hang out with you, Justin, for sure.
What was it? I'm sorry.
I do 10%. If I could just do 10% of what you're doing, I'd be a happy man.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
I mean, I would be happy if I achieved half that or a quarter of that as well. Like, I mean, still at the end of the day, I mean, but I just I feel it necessary just to kind of go a little higher, and even if I don't hit it, just like Jill said, who cares, right? Mm-hmm. I'm still satisfied in a lot of ways, but just go after it a little bit more.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, sometimes we do have to get out of our own way. And you know what I think about, Michael? Maybe there's a way of this. Like, I know you guys, and I know you've done well. And I would say, you go to a casino and you have gambling money and you put that aside and you're just going to go, I'm just going to go crazy over here and see what happens. I would say, we've talked about this and doing little fun contests over the years, to see who wins, and put some money aside. And I know that you're going to, and maybe open yourself up to take not necessarily risks, because I know you won't do that and we won't let you do that, but you're going to relax some of the things that you do right now, Michael, and put $50,000 aside and make some different decisions, and you and let yourself go. You might find yourself you're going to turn $50,000 to $200,000 faster. You know what I'm trying to say? By relaxing some of your rules and not being afraid of some stuff, and just go for it, because I know you guys can do this.
Yeah, the rules they're talking about are probably my pricing rules, meaning that I have to do it. I've got to let that go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you, in that budget, you're going to say, all right, this is going to account for concierge because I'm not doing it. And it's going to account for brokers, fees because I'm not doing that. And then, but then sit back and watch how much faster and easier it all went. You're going to go, oh boy. All right. Got it. And then, you know, kind of like we talk about don't quitting your day job, which you're doing right now, right? You know, let that go side by side as your normal way of doing business until it takes it over. And then if you keep doing that, you know, you will work yourself out of a job. You're going to be like, I have to orchestrate this all. Nobody else can. We're now making $2 million. Who needs a stupid, you know, W-2? I got to do this stuff. I think it'll happen.
If I can, believe me, if I was at that 2 million mark, I'd definitely be long gone.
Okay.
Yep.
You know,
I have a suggestion too. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just for you and Jill. If you guys like, I don't know if you've already done this, but if you could make like a video on like how to travel the world and do this business at the same time and still yield like really high numbers, that would be incredibly helpful. Like, I think for a lot of different people. I don't know if that's something. I just wanted to throw that out there, and then I'll shut up.
No, totally. You know what's so funny, Justice, is when we started this whole... When I met Dear Jack, his whole goal in life was, whatever we do, it has to be able to be... We can run a business and be successful from the back of a boat. I'm like, all right. So that was our whole thing. We were never going to live in a big house, you know, never going to own a couch, you know, all these things. Everything was going to, because it's built into the yacht, by the way. So that was our whole thing, and it's still been that way.
Yep.
So we are constantly threatening each other, like, oh, because it's I'll tell you truth time. It's kid number 3 who's almost out of school right now, going to be in college, that we're kind of sticking put for. But you guys know we have an RV, and I'm staring at it right now out my office window. We are 5 minutes away, and it's always packed. That I just need to grab a few things, throw it in there, and we can go. And that's our goal too. And you can do this. That's what's great about it.
I'd love. Oh, sorry, Stephen. Go ahead.
Jill, you're perfect. You're a perfect candidate to do that show.
Mm-hmm.
Let's end this on this, and we don't have to end it, but I want to be real. We're throwing out multi-million-dollar numbers here, and that stuff for Jill and I didn't happen overnight. But I really want to drive this point home, especially for you, Michael. If you focus on this one thing, buying a property and marking it up $40,000 a piece of land, and you know it's worth more, so you're going to cycle through these properties fast, and you do that once a month, you're going to make $500,000 a year. You're going to make $40,000 a month. That's $480,000. Instead of worrying about all this other stuff and hiring people and everything, only do the deals that are going to make $40,000. Send out a truck ton of mail and pick out the properties that, you know, fit that $40,000 margin quickly. You're going to grossly succeed. And the other properties that actually will make money, that maybe don't very specifically fit that criteria, throw them on Discord and sell the opportunity for $1,000. This is what Kevin Farrell does all the time. Instead of closing the deal, he knows it's a great deal, but it doesn't fit his criteria. He just sells the whole opportunity on Discord to somebody in our group.
Yeah, we did that last year, and I think we're going to do that again this year. About that number, about 500 net or gross sales, and then there's expenses after that, and then the take home is whatever, you know, whatever you can calculate after taxes. So we're about 500, but it's not, 2 million. So,
well, just double it, and then double it the next year.
Yeah, I got to just double, triple down on it, and I've got to remove myself. I'm the biggest problem. So you're right.
This is awesome.
I don't think that ever goes away. I'm the biggest problem in all of our companies too.
Yeah, that's true.
If I just stay away, everything goes great.
I'm totally joking. This has been a running thing in our whole career, and Erin is on this call, and she can attest to this, which is when Steve and I are on vacation, everything runs great.
Yeah. It's always been that way.
Exactly. When we get involved, the staff's like, oh God, what do they need now? So funny. Hey, anyone listening today that wants to continue this chat, we do our Thursday, every Thursday at 2:00 Pacific time, 3:00 Mountain time is where it sits right now. We have a live members only closed Zoom screen sharing environment where we talk about what we're talking about. We look at deals together. If you're listening to us right now and you're like, what the heck are you talking about? How are you guys finding these properties? What does that even look like? Where are they? They've got to be, they're either something great here or they're something dumpy over here. I don't believe this stuff, whatever it is. We would love to have you. We're with open arms inviting you to be a guest member on our Thursday call. It's every single week. We all get together. So this Clubhouse came along just as an extension of that, just to share what we do and help as many people as we can. So anyway, if you want to be on the call today, just send a note to support@landacademy.com. Say, hey, I was on Clubhouse. I'd love to be on this Thursday call today. Can I please have a Zoom invite? And they will totally hook you up so you can join in and watch and listen and hear Michael and hear Justice and all of us talking about deals and answer all kinds of questions, including more from you. Thank you, everyone. This has been awesome. Happy to.
Thank you,
Michael. You shared a lot of good stuff today, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their week, rest of their day, beginning of 2022. I am so excited. You want to add something, Steven?
No, I mean, thanks, Joe. It's kind of the Joe show on Clubhouse here, and thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Thanks, everyone.
You're welcome. All right. See you guys later. Okay. Bye.
See you. Thank you. Bye.